Hey, greetings everybody, GleeCon here again with another episode of Lore of Warcraft. Stay a while and listen to the epilogue of the novel we've been reading, Beyond the Dark Portal. We last left off on the final chapter where we saw that the Alliance heroes were stranded on Draenor. They had went through a portal, but they popped back through, back onto Draenor, and Draenor now looks like the Outlands that we know from World of Warcraft. So let's find out. It looks like we're gonna see what the orcs had in store for them. Ner'zhul! The orc shaman and horde war chief cried out at the sound of his name, his eyes flicking open. At once the strange, swirling nothingness all around him assaulted his senses, and he squeezed his eyes shut, hoping to force away the welter of sensation that threatened to drive him mad. Then, through the thrums and howls and cracklings, he heard it again. Ner'zhul! Blinking, he glanced around him. A short ways away, or so it seemed, though an instant later he would have sworn it was miles distant, Ner'zhul saw a dark form. It was shaped like an orc, and a longer look confirmed it, revealing green skin and tusks and long braids. Definitely an orc, and one Ner'zhul recognized as one of his own Shadow Moon warriors. The warrior did not move, however. Ner'zhul thought he saw the other orc's chest rising and falling, but in this place he could not be sure of anything. Other shapes littered the strange maelstrom of light and shadow. All those who had followed him through the rift appeared to be here with him. The question was, where was here? Why hadn't the rift led them to another world? For whatever this place might be, Ner'zhul was sure it was not a normal world. What had happened? Why was he awake and aware while all the others were trapped in a deep sleep? A column of light rolled past, and for an instant Ner'zhul saw echoing glimmers around each of the other orcs, and around himself. His eyes widened, then clamped shut as they overloaded from the sights assaulting them. But he knew what he had seen. They were trapped indeed. Something was binding them to this place. So it's like they're in the lands between whatever, the twisting nether or whatever it is, the void, whichever canon eventually establishes as the route where you go when you're traveling between portals. Ner'zhul! His name wafted across the strangeness yet again, but this time Ner'zhul felt something tug upon his chest and his limbs. The other orcs receded rapidly. Perhaps he was the one moving while they remained locked in place. It was impossible to tell here. But within minutes Ner'zhul was alone, the rest of his orcs only distant shadows. And then a larger, darker shadow fell across him, and he looked up into the face of Wrath itself. Before Ner'zhul hung a massive being arrayed in heavy armor of etched blood-red metal. The figure's face resembled that of a Draenei, intelligent-looking and clever, but with bright red skin and a demonic cast. The creature had short, curving horns rising from his high temples, and two strange protrusions like tentacles extending below his mouth and well past the short beard covering his chin. Several earrings gleamed, and the creature's eyes glowed a deep yellow. And Ner'zhul knew him at once. "Great One!" Ner'zhul gasped, doing his best to bow, though his limbs were still bound somehow. "Ah, Ner'zhul, my unfaithful little servant," replied Kil'jaeden, Demon Lord of the Burning Legion. "Did you think I had forgotten about you?" "No, Great One, of course not." In truth, Ner'zhul had hoped so, and after the first few years had begun to think it true. Now his heart sank as the Demon Lord continued speaking. "Oh, I have been watching you closely all this time, Ner'zhul," Kil'jaeden assured him. "You cost me a great deal, you know." The Demon Lord laughed, a chilling, grating sound. "And now you shall pay for such failure." Ner'zhul began, but his brain could barely formulate words. "You could not leave well enough alone," Kil'jaeden finished for him. "I knew that eventually you would try yet again to cast magics you were not ready to handle, and did not understand. I waited, knowing that someday your own arrogance would bring you to me." He spread his gauntleted hands wide. "And here we are." His eyes narrowed to mere slits. You have dreamed of death. You thought to escape it. Now, my little puppet, death will be all you ever know. Brief glimpses seared Ner'zhul's brain. Agony as pieces of flesh were torn from his still-living body. The dead surrounding him, closing in on him, their blood on his hands, his own blood coating them, a morbid union of death, life, and excruciating torment. "No!" Ner'zhul shouted, thrashing about, trying everything to free himself from his invisible bonds. "My people still need me!" Laughter shook the demon's powerful form, a horrible, eerie sound that made Ner'zhul's heart spasm. "I know full well they mean nothing to you. So do not worry," the demon lord whispered, stabbing the tip of one long finger into Ner'zhul's cheek. The motion burned, sending spikes of heat and pain through Ner'zhul's flesh. "There is no saving them. Do you not yet understand? Little puppet, you cannot even save yourself." Then he twisted that finger, the rest of his splayed hand latching onto Ner'zhul's face, and the orc shaman let his head fall back, a horrible scream wrenching its way out past his trembling lips. He knew it was but the first of many. So that's an interesting epilogue, like in terms of just desserts for Ner'zhul. But I don't know that that sticks as canon, because one, I think what we're reflecting on here is they're saying you travel to the realm of the Burning Legion, the Twisting Nether, when you travel through portals. Perhaps I guess it's kind of implied, but I do think later on it's finally decided that it's actually the void. The Twisting Nether is something else. Second, I'm not sure how he would ever escape from Kil'jaeden, so that's either going to be explained, or Ner'zhul's going to make his way back into the lore as though that never quite happened, or this is all in his head. You could argue that's all in his head, that he's just experiencing nightmares while traveling through. That's an easy way to retcon that. But I guess in some level, it's a morally satisfactory way to end the novel. All right, we got this episode and this novel, another one in the series, in the pipe, 5x5. We're going to finish off the game and wrap up a few little errata over the next few episodes. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope that you liked riding out with me, learning some more. We got these two people. I'm not going to read about the authors. We've read about both of them before. See everybody next time on Lore of Warcraft.